Well, covering this story for us from Vienna, where those talks are taking place, is our correspondent Anthony Mills. We can speak to him right now. Anthony, the last meeting like this was 5 months ago. What's happened since this group last sat down?
Quite a while ago, and in short, the answer to that is there was a presidential election in Iran, which required that the moderate President Hassan Rouhani make way for a hardline president, Ibrahim Raisi. And what that effectively meant was that the talks, in effect, were placed on hold. It's understood that before this interim of 5 months and the presidential election in Iran, there had been something of a roadmap agreed, certainly nothing akin to an actual concrete agreement, but some tentative steps had been taken, had been achieved with regard to laying out a roadmap in terms of actually moving this tanker, if we can call it that, back on course towards an eventual agreement. The original agreement, of course, having been ripped up by former US President Donald Trump already back in 2018. Now, when the hardline President Ibrahim Raisi came in Iran, of course, he had to settle himself, as it were, first, and that required setting up a new team, coming to terms with the exact status, and of course, sending out some very hardline messages, although he did always say that he intended to return to the talks. Nonetheless, what's happened is that 5 months have transpired, and in that time, a lot of trust has been lost. A lot of ground that had been cleared has been covered again. And most importantly, of course, the question is, what exactly are the intentions of the team that is in Vienna today?
And I suppose the other key question, Anthony, is, what's the mood like among delegates there? How much optimism is there now that there will actually be a breakthrough in the talks this week?
On one level, of course, given that this is essentially a hardline team that represents a hardline president and a fundamental shift in the orientation of the Iranian regime, so on one level, there is pessimism. There's certainly a sense that with those 5 months that have transpired, plus the emergence of this hardline regime, that the window for a possible agreement has shrunk in size. It hasn't been closed entirely, though, and I think there is an understanding at the fact that there is a team here, the fact that the foreign minister is saying that they want to reach agreement, and the fact that at no time has the new president, Ibrahim Raisi, actually slammed the door shut, means that there is still potentially a very faint glimmer of light. But there's a mood of realism as well. There's an understanding that even in those 5 months, not to mention the 3 years since the deal was originally ripped up, that a lot has changed on the ground again. Because, of course, as soon as that deal was ripped up by President Trump, what happened was that Iran started reneging on its commitments. It started enriching uranium beyond the permitted limits under that deal. It denied access to inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency, of course, the agency tasked with overseeing Iran's uranium enrichment activities and its atomic activities in general. So it started ramping back access for those inspectors. And in short, it created an increasing climate of mistrust. In the interim as well, the demands have hardened. What they want, the Iranian delegation, is for the United States to actually apologize and say, look, we were sorry, we're wrong to rip this deal up, as it were. They want a commitment on the part of the United States that it will never renege on any future deal again. And they want an immediate rollback of sanctions, because sanctions, of course, the key term here. When that deal was ripped up, the US moved fast to reimpose crippling sanctions on Iran, and they say nothing doing until those sanctions are lifted. The United States say, look, we're here in good faith, albeit not face to face. And we want some recognition on the part of the Iranian delegation of good faith. And right now, they're pretty much at loggerheads, albeit with a readiness to negotiate. But of course, that climate of mistrust reflected in the fact that they're not meeting face to face.
Anthony Mills, live for us in Vienna. Thanks very much indeed.